If you were to win a third again, three in a row, how difficult would it be for you to walk away top the track for a fourth?
I can't even anticipate that. I mean, I wouldn't even, assume to anticipate it. But I was able to walk away from the last one, which was in Chicago, and we did two in a row there, and the culmination, that last dance season that we had in Chicago, was a perfect ending, and I hope this is a great ending here too.
No, the last one, the last game in Chicago before it started, you beat me at the last game before it started. Do you have any thoughts for the end of this season?
Well, I kind of put it out in the press release that they had back in July that this is the last stand. So I hope it's not like Custer's. Well, this training camp's kind of a bust, as we call it. It's, you just have to do the best you can in this training camp. We'll try to incorporate these new players, embrace them, educate them in what we do. We don't anticipate that the first 2 weeks we're going to gain any ground, so to speak. We're going to go to Europe. We're going to be, a showcase team for the NBA in Europe, which is fine. It's our turn to go, and we'll make the best out of it.
So you talked about this being the last.
But I will finish that with you. When we get back and we get into the last 2 weeks of our training camp, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to recover from a trip like that. But we'll start, incorporating the things we want to do, get a rhythm for our players that we want to play with, and hopefully by the last couple of exhibition games we'll have a routine and a lineup that'll resemble what we're going to do during the games.
What do you mean by bust? To me, a bust means a failure. I mean, what does it mean? What does bust mean?
Well, you just don't get your practice times. You don't get the conditioning. We have a number of players coming back from surgery. We have Lamar, who's been on a NBA jaunt this summer for USA basketball. There's a number of things that mean that we're just going to have to kind of walk our players through the exhibition season until we get back home again and have an opportunity to start doing some work, the basic work that you have to get done in a training camp.
You talk about this being the last stand for you. Would there be a certain amount of sentimentality that goes along with that?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm hoping to keep it as minimal as possible.
You look at the third season of your three-peat years, the two in Chicago and the one in LA. Are there any trends or challenges that you think can apply to years after?
Well, those 2 years, we lost more games than we had the previous 2 seasons. The year even here in LA, we lost more games than we did in the 2 previous seasons. So that's something I hope isn't a bear of this news of this season. I think we want to go out and we want to do what we did last year and finish in first place. I think that's important to teams. That we can win in the playoffs on the road, I think we've shown that. But that's not what you think about. You think about putting the right steps forward, all season long. It begins at the start of the season, and the final, cap is winning a championship on, doing the right thing and being in the right place. And he's ready to play.
What did you have those feelings when the end of your Chicago run started that season without Scott Pippen in January?
Yeah.
Do you have any similar feelings about this?
Yes. I mean, there's a little bit about, the push of over 100 games for the last 3 seasons. So there's a lot of games that go down in a championship run, and this is, 3 successive years that we've had that. So, that players are going to be a little bit more tired, not physically, but maybe mentally from basketball and not the duration of time off. And physically, some things happen as a result, as you go along. So, we just have to be really, concerned about, keeping it going and keeping that energy going and, backing up the guys that, like Fish and Kobe and guys that played those minutes. Oh, it's an impossible task. You just go about it and don't think about how difficult it is and just play each game and just don't worry about anything but that. But it's really a difficult task. I mean, if you go back through the history of this game, You just don't see it. It just doesn't happen. Minnesota Lakers, Minneapolis Lakers, I should say, and the Boston Celtics, and that's it. You should go back and look at it, and then the Chicago Bulls turned it around, but it just takes remarkable talent to be able to do it.
And just winning, the championship separately this year, 'cause, how hard will it be to win the championship separately this year?
Well, it's connected. It's connected to the other championships in the playoffs before that we didn't win, so it's hard to separate them as far as that goes. But it's just going to be very difficult. We've got young teams out here in the West that are, showing up in Oklahoma, and teams that are, starting to descend that are still difficult in the West, and San Antonio per se, and teams have been rebuilt like Dallas, so we've got our own problems out here in the West. Denver is trying to get themselves, in a position where they can get back to the finals again. So there's going to be plenty of competition. Houston's got Yao Ming back playing again this season, and who knows what Phoenix can conjure up after losing Stoudemire. But with Nash there, they're going to have a team that can do some things. So we anticipate it's going to be very difficult just to get back where we want to get back to, and that's the finals. But all those things are rent with possibility of injuries and all those other things going.
You mentioned that if the past championships are tied in different ways, that this one would be get it. Is it because of the physical, just everything piling up on each other?
I think so. I think so. I think it's physical. There's some mental fatigue that goes into it. Like, can I do this again? Can I sacrifice myself for the better of the team? And we've got an age factor, and Kobe and Fish and the amount of games they played. Those are all things that you can write down in paper, but it's how we pull it together as a group that matters.
So